What if the things filling your home right now, quietly shaping how heavy or how light your next decade will feel? Most people over 60 believe clutter is just a cosmetic issue, something you deal with when company comes over or when you finally have the energy. But there's a deeper mystery here. Why do some seniors report feeling calmer, healthier, and more in control? They're simplifying their homes, while others feel increasingly overwhelmed despite having more time than ever. Something important is hiding in plain sight, and it's not about being neat. For years, aging research focused on physical decline and medical care. But in the last 2 decades, researchers began connecting environment to aging outcomes. Dr. Gary Evans at Cornell and teams studying environmental psychology found that chronic household clutter increases cortisol levels, especially in older adults. At the same time, studies from the National Institute on Aging showed that cognitive load, having too many objects competing for attention, accelerates stress and decision fatigue after 65. The home, once a refuge, can quietly become a source of strain. To understand why decluttering before 70 matters so much, you have to trace the cause and effect timeline back to early adulthood. In your 20s and 30s, possessions are markers of progress. Furniture, collections, tools, paperwork all represent effort, identity, and security. According to U.S. Census data, this is when household accumulation accelerates the fastest. Nothing feels excessive yet, because space, energy, and memory are abundant. Each item carries a story, and letting go feels unnecessary. Then the 40s arrive, and changes start quietly. Life speeds up. Careers peak, caregiving increases, and time feels scarce. Objects begin to stack rather than circulate. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that during midlife, people are more likely to postpone decisions about belongings, telling themselves they'll deal with it later. Storage fills. Closets tighten. Paper piles grow. Still, the cost feels invisible. You can navigate around it. For now, after 65, a critical shift occurs that most people ignore. Physical stamina decreases slightly, reaction time slows, and visual processing changes. According to CDC injury data, falls inside the home are the leading cause of injury-related hospitalizations for seniors, and clutter a major contributor. At the same time, the brain becomes more sensitive to overstimulation. What once felt familiar now feels noisy, yet many seniors respond by holding on tighter, believing possessions equals security. The breaking point usually isn't dramatic. It shows up as frustration, trouble finding things, avoiding certain rooms, feeling tired just thinking about organizing. Adult children start making comments. According to surveys from AARP, over half of adults over 65 report feeling stressed by their belongings, but less than a third take action. This is where clutter stops being neutral. It begins affecting mood, mobility, and confidence. The fallout reaches further than most expect. Health-wise, cluttered homes increase fall risk, dust exposure, and stress-related conditions. Financially, excess items lead to storage costs, duplicate purchases, and difficulties downsizing when needed. Lifestyle-wise, clutter limits social connection. People stop inviting others over. Across millions of American seniors, the pattern repeats. Crowded homes lead to narrowed lives. So why don't people fix it sooner? Because of failed fixes based on old advice? Just organize it better. Buy more storage. Tackle it all at once. Research shows these approaches often backfire. They add complexity instead of reducing it. Seniors feel overwhelmed, and stop confirming the belief that decluttering is exhausting or emotionally painful. The truth is simpler, but it's usually revealed too late. Not all clutter is equal. Certain categories carry disproportionate mental and physical weight. And letting go of the right items first creates momentum that changes everything. The first category is outdated paperwork. Old bills, manuals, and records create constant low-level anxiety. Studies on cognitive load show that visible paperwork increases perceived unfinished business. Keeping only legally necessary documents can immediately lower stress. The second is unused furniture. Extra chairs, tables, or cabinets shrink walking paths and visual space. Removing just one large, unused piece often reduces fall risk and makes rooms feel lighter overnight. The third is duplicate kitchen items. Multiple gadgets and sets complicate daily routines. Simplifying kitchens has been shown in occupational therapy research to improve independence and confidence in older adults. The fourth is clothing you no longer wear. Closets full of someday clothes reinforce outdated identities. Letting go frees not just space, but self-perception. The fifth is sentimental items kept out of guilt. Memory doesn't live in objects alone. Studies on emotional well-being show that photographing meaningful items before donating them preserves memory without physical burden. The sixth is broken or to-be-fixed items. These represent postponed decisions. Each one quietly drains energy. Removing them closes mental loops that have been open for years. Linking this to today is crucial. Decluttering before 70 isn't about minimalism. It's about preparing an environment that supports autonomy, safety, and peace as needs change. The data is clear. Seniors who simplify their homes report higher life satisfaction and lower stress in national surveys. So, what can you do right now? First, start with safety zones. Clear walkways, bedrooms, and bathrooms first. Immediate benefits build motivation. Second, use the 1-year rule. If you haven't used it in a year and it's not essential, question why it's still there. Third, declutter in short sessions. Research shows 20-minute sessions reduce overwhelm and increase follow-through. Here's the warning. Based on evidence, waiting until a health crisis or forced move to declutter increases emotional distress and reduces choice. Acting earlier preserves control. And here's the open thought to hold until the next video. If your home reflects your past, what would it look like if it fully supported your future? If this resonated, subscribe for the next chapter, where we explore how simplifying your environment can actually strengthen memory and emotional resilience after 70.